ladies and gentlemen, we have one more match for you today. The LA Valiant getting ready to go up against the Guangzhou Charge. I'm Ilios back here with Wolf to round out another day of Overwatch action. And this one, we've had some really one-sided series.
We certainly have.
I mean, able to put up a fight, for sure there in that match, but couldn't get the victory. But this one could be a bit scrappier. Both of these teams are down along the bottom of the standings here. As you can see, 16th place for Charge, the Valiant down at 18th.
Yeah, both of these teams still have the potential to make that top 12 for play-ins, but every single loss in the series puts them not anymore a step closer, but a leap closer to being eliminated from that playoff contention for the season. So, I mean, the loser of this one is not going home happy.
Yeah, certainly not. I mean, the map differentials for these guys has not been great. Guangzhou coming back off of a loss against the Seoul Dynasty. Things are very rough. Obviously, Dynasty look more informed than they ever really have. Some good, against the Chengdu Hunters. Coming into this one.
Well, both,
All the same. Been some ups and downs, I guess is what I'm getting at.
The Charge kind of got countered by Seoul Dynasty's roster in that series against Seoul, and in some ways it wasn't a fair fight in terms of style, and it's rough when Seoul Dynasty has got your number that much. We've seen a lot of changes to the Charge in recent times, but the Valiant, not an easy opponent for them here either, and it's a win they must take. They absolutely have to take this.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Valiant are coming off the back of a 4-0, fortunately. That one also against the Chengdu Hunters. Both these teams able to get victories against that Chinese opponent. So going to be looking to replicate that here today against Guangzhou, another Chinese representative. But again, I'm just expecting this one to be all-out scrappy, probably straying away from 3-3 a lot of the time, perhaps. But taking a look at their schedule, you can see here, had that 1-3 loss versus the Dragons, got the 4-0 victory over the Hunters. They've charged Dragons again, and then Titans, Spark, and Spitfire. This is a very difficult schedule for the Valiant, so they need to get a win here versus the Charge, and it needs to be a very convincing one. Yeah, a 3-2 doesn't instill much hope.
No, it really doesn't, and then they're going to have to take maps off of the rest of the teams as well in order to have a good enough map differential to then try to soar through in Stage 4 to that top 12. It's a very, very uphill battle. It's not realistic. It's just not. So, I mean, you're hoping, you're praying if you're a Valiant fan.
Well, let's go ahead and bring out our first team here. It's the Guangzhou Charge.
One of the more predictable teams in the Overwatch League, to be honest, but they have their own unique style. They like to play a lot of Widowmaker, and they don't really crash into the 3-3 mirror all too often. They've got a great Sombra and Doomfist player in Eileen as well. One of the league's better Plex supports in Shu, but the consistency just hasn't been there. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that this team likes to run a lot of unique strategies that at the beginning of the season looked new and different, but at the same time, they became predictable. They became more found out. And you keep running the same strategies, your opponents are going to counter you.
Well, this is going to be their starting 6 here for the Guangzhou Charge. We'll see if they have any subs. Kibanir, of course, going to be waiting on the bench, so maybe we see them come through depending on the map pool. Well, let's bring out their challengers, the home team. It's the LA Valiant.
The home team sits at 18th at the bottom of the standings, and it was almost exactly 1 year ago today that they won the Stage 4 finals for the 2018 season against NYXL. A lot has changed since then, and this team does not look dominant. They do not look in full form, and we know that the potential is there, but we've been saying that for 2 stages, and now we're in our 3rd, and it's just a little bit too late. It's not realistic to expect that this team will make that top 12 cutoff, but what a crazy run it would be. It would be the biggest comeback in standings in Overwatch history across Overwatch League, Apex, Contenders, you name it. If they could make it happen, if they could make that run, people will tell stories about it for years, but we just have to wait and see if they can make it happen. Everyone is hoping, everyone is praying. It's the home crowd here cheering for them, but that may not be enough.
Yep, that with their latest edition here, Fact Fiction, taking to the stage again. Slow start for him, but able to bounce back, get that 4-0 over the Chengdu Hunters. So it seems like perhaps they're starting to find that groove so they can get on pace to maybe make that miraculous run. The Outlaws are kind of doing it at the moment, so why not the Valiant?
That's the hope. Fact Fiction has certainly been a welcome addition to this team, and he's going to have to come up big today. He's starting once again as we head into our map set presented by Toyota.
Will be Ilios here on control, followed by Horizon. The difference going to go ahead and diverge away from the Volskaya here, then into Numbani for hybrid, and round things out with our latest addition to the map pool with Havana.
It's a map pool that really suits the Charge's playstyle as well, especially with Havana there at the end.
Yeah.
Long sight lines, and Ilios is certainly somewhere we can see the Sombra, and also the Doomfist potentially for Eileen, should he decide to pull that one out. A lot of versatility with the Charge roster, and Valiant is just going to be sticking with what has been working for them. Not very consistently, but when they've had their best games, it's usually been with 3-3. It will be the Winston variation here for Fact Fiction. Rio.
And the Wrecking Ball variation.
Yeah, Rio with the Wrecking Ball here.
Changing it up. I mean, you have that well smack dab in the middle. Get the grapple through, knock people in. That might just be enough to win a fight in and of itself. For now, Shoot is going to be playing around this left side from his approach. Pile driver in for Rio. Doesn't get too much done. He's waiting patiently, coming around from behind. Sees him to be rolling through, and that's already Karim. Sent down into the pit. Rio nearly getting taken out, or Harmony thrown onto him. So we'll be able to survive for a bit longer as they top him up. For now, the Valiant, though, having to play away from the point. The first lockdown comes through as the Charge snatch it. Fact Fiction going to be traded out, but it's at the cost of Happy. So now the Zarya going to be gone. Majority of the damage here for the Guangzhou Charge going to be eliminated. It will delay him further from building up that Graviton Surge.
Transcendence being very late for Kareev though with that knockoff and the swap coming through, and this is going to cost them dearly as Happy is building a much more impactful upcoming grab here.
Pooped in from behind, Eileen got the whip shot. They sent Fact Fiction down into the well. Almost looked like he was just jumping in there himself and abandoning the fight, but Rio finds another knockoff, and that's going to be the abandon coming through from the rest of the Valiant. Know that they cannot fight this out. Drop down, pops up Custa, and he will get finished.
This map belongs to Rio right now. He has dominated with not only the knockoffs with the grapple, but his insane chases onto the high ground. Headshots coming through, which you don't talk about too much with the Wrecking Ball, but he's done a ton of damage. Second for the Charge right now, only behind Shu at 1,320. And he's got a minefield ready to stop the approach here, make it more difficult for KSF to get a grab off, get into position to utilize that. He's got the energy for it, but getting that angle is not going to be easy, and the pile driver will be ready, Trance will be ready.
Well, minefield coming down from above instantly. Graviton Surge going to be waiting for him, and KSF is able to beam him down. Sound barrier used by Custom for the elongated fight. Eileen under pressure from Fact Fiction. Goes in a bit deep, might get punished for it, but actually no, does manage to leap back out the safety, the bubble for security there from KSF. Valiant get the flip, 77% for Guangzhou, now they're in control.
Nice move by KSF. Predicts the pile driver and the minefield coming through. You know, we were kind of alluding to that being the initiation for Rio and team, but gets the solo grab, punishes him for that, turns into a 6v5 fight, de-empowers the Transcendence from Shu, kind of neuters the effectiveness of that. Now Rio's going to look for a flanking pile driver again. Actually just going to straight up come through with the grapple.
Pile driver coming down, but everybody's playing so far forward from the Valiant that no one gets clipped by it. Rio already using that adaptive shield, will be able to roll through a couple people, and Karim will be burning a Transcendence.
I think it's time to consider a swap off the Wrecking Ball here. No longer as effective as it was at the beginning, and the Valiant are playing around it so well. If you're inside that room, you can't get enough verticality to slam with the pile driver. The Valiant are just finally adapting to this style. Doesn't look like the Charge are interested in that swap right now, though. They're going to keep Rio on it. He's halfway to a minefield, but again, challenging to get value when the Valiant play around these small enclosed areas.
Opportunity potentially coming up here for the Charge as Happy nearly has the Graviton Surge online. There are no defensive ultimates available for the Valiant. Karim's not building that Transcendence very rapidly. KSF, though, to shut down this push as they hit 70%, getting ready to exceed that of the Charge. Get nothing from that grab, but Space takes Happy's away, so they get nothing in return. He was able to take down Karim with a bomb from Space, picks up the kill onto the enemy Zarya. And you can see the abandon. Several members go down into the well. Guangzhou Charge one more attempt to try to flip this back into their favor. Rio likely going to be the one that has to touch.
Yeah, and it's never really the initiation that you want if you're trying to take a point like this with Minefield as your opener And it's going to be very obvious. Watch Rio here as he comes through. They're looking for the stun. He has the bubble. It's already on cooldown now.
Forces out that OT up into the air, minefield into the pile driver, but KSF's got the bubble, so he does not get crowd controlled. Back Fiction manages to find Happy, smacking him with the primal rage, now looking for a little bit more char into the pit, but he's got the wall ride, so we'll be okay. Back Fiction stunned up for the moment, trying to stay alive. The bubble comes down, denying a lot of that damage away, and Crib's got that Transcendence rolling, trying to keep everybody else topped up. Barrier shield's going to be expiring on the side of the charge. No one going down yet. Back Fiction still playing aggressively despite the fact that he's only got half HP. Duke can get out now with Shu, but Custa comes in. The 2v1 gets the kill. And then OT Bar is going to start dropping rapidly if they can clear the charge off the point. Bomb out from Hotbutt, trying to make it back into the back, trying to survive. Seems like he will be able to get back in safely, but Rio, can't really be said for him. Sliver of HP down into the 10s. Manages to roll out to safety, but now Eileen and Hotba both going to be getting eliminated. Rio goes back through with a third of HP, but it is just cleanup time for the Valiant. Taking member after member of charge out of the equation. Grab comes through, Fact Fiction going to be caught, primal range getting ready to expire, but no one else from the charge able to make the point, so they will be able to take this one. Valiant start things off with a win on well.
Very much a good turnaround and adaptation for the Valiant, and you know, they came out with this gambit. The Wrecking Ball started off working well. They got a few environmental kills. They were isolating targets and chasing them down, won the first defensive fight. But after the flip came through, they never really were able to grab back control using the Wrecking Ball. I feel Rio swapping back over to a Reinhardt, or even perhaps a Winston in this case, given the way that they were playing around him, would have been more effective. And the trust between the support line of the Valiant and their tank line, you could see it, you could feel it. Space and Fact Fiction making big plays, but not on their own, on the back of great sound barriers from Costa, and also Kariv coming in big there on the Zenyatta. And now it's time for him to swap over to the Moira. They're looking for the first cap here with that extra burst healing, a fast coalescence. This is also a gamble, but if you get that first cap, it can be worth it. They swap though. We've seen a lot of teams really commit and try it out, but if it doesn't work, you're in big trouble.
This slows them down. You know, had to go send Custa back to the point with the Rift to taxi him. With that speed boost, make sure that he can get back into the fight. The point unlocked will be snatched up by the charge, because the Valiant do have to play that passively. KSF just building up that energy very quickly, approaches 100, and Happy just doesn't stand a chance. He and Kariv just absolutely melt him. Space will get knocked out of the mech with the Valiant. They've won the greater fight.
Yep. And that's insane too, because they gave up positional advantage because Kariv had to swap. Custa had to go taxi him over. Charge had not only the point first, but that positional advantage on the low ground. And KSF ends up playing the better Zarya here, maintaining that high energy, and then beaming down the opponents, or the opposing Zarya in Happy. Excellent play from the Valiant and a very swift retake. On top of it, turning the ult economy back into their favor as well.
Bubble used there on a KSF. Rio getting juggled around, taking a lot of damage, as is the barrier. Down below 600 now. So have to peel back and allow that to regenerate so they can try to approach again. Good harass coming out of the Valiant at the moment. Back Fiction just playing up into the front. Shatter now online. KSF almost with a grab. Rallies rolling for both of these teams. Valiant are happy about this stalemate. They can just go ahead and continue to play up in front of the point. Just keep ticking up. Now wrap around the backhand side. KSF manages to find the grab. There's multiple members on the side of the charge. Shatter and KSF going lower and lower. Gets the bubble though. The Transcendence from Kariv manages to save him, but now Happy is going to be the one falling. Graviton Surge still online for the charge. Zarya player, maybe not an opportunity to use it. Already 70%, getting ready to come through for the Valiant as Rio goes down as a stagger.
This is a great, really solidification of a lead by Valiant, because they have 76%. The ultimates that the charge have to try to approach this point can be shut down. The Custa sound barrier is the scariest thing the charge will have to face. Also, Space's defensive self-destruct. If they can't flip it now, it's over.
Well, grab here onto the high ground, and Custa's gonna be the first one to fall. No chance to use that barrier. And that is just gonna be a sweep, so Charge will be able to flip this just before we hit overtime.
But it's the first step of many they will have to take to bring this to a third round, because they used the Graviton Surge there. Sure, it got them to flip, and it was only one ultimate, but the Los Angeles Valiant with 96%, with a 70% lead, can slowly push in here, try to force Chara to sound barrier without using ultimates, and eventually just win through ult attrition here. And the better control meter they have built up. So it's very terrifying now for the Charge. You've got to keep that ult economy going.
Well, bubble used here onto Rio as he tries to stay alive. Sound barrier coming through. Chara dropping the beat. Valiant just playing back. Playing patiently. Now engaging. Barrier through from Custa. They charge forward onto the point. Rio holding onto the Shatter. Waiting for an opportunity to use it. Hotfoot goes off the side. Custa opens things up for him. Shatter comes down, only finds space. Goes in for the pit, but dies before they hit the wall. So can't even weaken the mech. Custa still dancing around. Will get taken out by Happy. The Valiant, they're entrenched on the point. They're looking for that flip. Chara around the backside. Rip misses the shots. Now Graf off the front of the point, but Happy gonna be taken down. Can't get any kills. Corinne just hiding behind that Demon mech. Manages to stay alive for a little bit longer. Rio takes him out as he reapproaches with the wrecking ball again. He's looking for some knockoffs. Unable to find it here. Can just swing back through. Pile driver. Unable to be found so far. OT is ticking away. Valiant again at 99%. Swing back in. Pile driver gets the connection, but he's so far from a minefield. He needs so much more than that to try to clear this one out. She was going to be using the Transcendence. Everybody else topped up as they go deep into the point to try to find the kills. KSM going low.
Rallies out. Can they keep Happy alive?
Not able to find any kills. No knockoffs coming through either. Space going to be using the bomb. Picks off Rio. Hop of the nice KSM to grab, but is that going to be enough? I don't think so, because now Hotpa's knocked out of the mech, and the HP bars from the Charge are pretty much in shambles. Chara nearly taken out. And that will just be it. 66% in the second round. Valiant come up with the win. As they hit 100, Ilios goes their way.
KSF definitely playing the better Zarya between him and Happy. Doing more damage, getting more consistent value out of his Graviton surges. Nice 2-0 here for the Valiant.
Very strong start for them. Let's see if they can put another on the board when we come back from the break.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Triple kill.
Quite the tweet there. The Charge having some fun, but maybe not so much in that first map. Valiant able to come up with a 2-0 on Ilios, so strong start. Now we have to see if they can persevere or if we get a tied up series as we get ready to dive into Assault.
And we talked about the map pool favoring the Charge as we head into Horizon Lunar Colony for our second map. It's a map where you can see Widowmaker be quite viable. You can see the Pharah Widow, triple DPS, bunker, these sorts of styles that Guangzhou is, arguably better at than straight up 3-3 in a lot of ways. It's a map where they could shine with their playstyle. They've already had the most success on Ilios with their Wrecking Ball variation, but it didn't work out in the long term. It didn't work out at the very end of things because of the adaptation from the Valiant. And, you can see Happy here, known for his lethal Widowmaker. Spent his time on Metabellum, crushing in Korea on that hero. And, he's got a bit of a controversial past in Korea, but he's starting fresh here as a rookie player in the Overwatch League. Now, Mentioned Horizon, a map that in the past and in the meta where he dominated most was a Widow map. Not so much nowadays, but it is certainly still viable. It's also a great map for Eileen's Sombra. We didn't see any from him so far, but it looks like that's how they're going to look to make their stand here on their first defense. The Valiant can certainly try to break this with a triple DPS variant, but given their success already with KSF Zarya and the tank line working well with supports today, I think they might just try to approach this in standard fashion, Reinhardt Zarya, to break the point. I don't think we'll see this soldier variation.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like the most likely. They still have 10 seconds counting down, so fully anticipating Fact Fiction to just push forward with the Wrecking Ball and do a little spot check here in case they're running the bunker. I think it's why we see a couple flips around, so we'll just be zooming forward to scout for his squad.
He's just gonna head back and swap.
And we'll just go ahead and trade that one out for the Rhine.
Yep.
Wait for him to get taxied forward and then continue.
Don't tell Sato, but usually the Winston not really popular on the attack on this one. Eileen up here on the high ground, just basically he's not looking for hacks too much, he's just looking for ult charge. And the EMP is going to be what they play around. If you can get a hack like this one, it's nice.
Yeah, a lot of damage onto the members of the Valiant as they try to stay alive. KSF will get taken down. Agility sent up in that staircase. Fact Fiction can do nothing to protect him. And that's just going to have to be a retreat call for the rest of the Valiant.
In ultless fights, the priority hacks are the Diva, because if you hit the Diva, you basically get 20 to 30% of your ult charge. I mean, that's worst case scenario if you get that hack off. If you hit the Zarya, you prevent them from using bubbles to save their teammates. And in this case, the Zarya was the correct target because everyone was low. Bubble might have been able to turn things around or at least get KSF some more ult charge, but they get neither. And now the EMP is ready.
Also for space to have to flip back and forth off that Diva with that D-Mech coming through. Kriv in a prime position to be EMP'd right now, as is Costa. He's tracking them both. They're going up the same hallway. Down.
There's no support ults ready for the Valiant, but he has to think that Korea's probably close. He's trying to wait, surprise him. He wants to stay away from space as well, where he might get spotted.
Push up over the top. Karif not going to get caught by the EMP. Pops that Transcendence. Rio, however, nailing a 4-man shatter, will be able to get the charge kill on a KSF, further delaying that Graviton Surge. Only at 40% at the moment. Karif going to be dead in the back. Costa only manages to find Shu. And now he cut off from the rest of his squad in the back of the point. It's likely to get taken down. Agilities finds Eileen. Costa still giving him a bit of a runaround, but will fall at the end. Valiant still playing a couple members forward here on the point behind Fact Fiction Shield, but they're gonna have to try to retreat.
Yeah, staying here is just giving more ult charge over to the Guangzhou charge. They have the better ult economy. I think the idea was to maybe you could force a grab or something like that, make them feel like they need to use it, but it didn't happen. The charge are patient. Eileen, one of the fastest heroes to get back to the point, is the Sombra, so they're ready to take this head on. Trance already used, so it's gonna have to be Custa's sound barrier this time to save them against the grab, and that itself just simply may not be enough.
Maybe Space with another E. Be his second of the series, but significantly less reliable than having a Transcendence come through. Grab right there onto the front corner. The beat will come down. Custa joins him on the low ground. Fact Fiction trying to stay alive, but here comes the EMP. 4 members caught on the side of the Valiant. Agility is going to be taken down. The rest of them just have to play back. They managed to get up to 45%. But now with less than a minute, they kind of either have to abandon this push and die, or just go forward.
Ooh, I don't know about this. This is very risky. Both support ultimates online for the charge.
Yep, KSF uses the grab, manages to find Hotba. They take him down solo.
They have to commit now. This is it. This is their last shot.
Yep, they have to go for it. Fire strike through. Rio gonna be taken low. Hack on a Fact Fiction. He is so low, gets taken down. Unable to use the shatter, but Rio will be traded out. Agility's able to pick up that kill, and now Space hounds down Char for the kill. Has to use that self-destruct, not from the point, waiting to get get back into the mech as soon as the hack expires, is able to do so. With a lot, Eileen taken down, seems like Valiant will finally be able to cap A. Is looking a bit disastrous there for a bit, but they do manage to get across that first checkpoint.
That pick onto Shu was super important. If the Charge get to use their support ultimates in an ideal fashion there, or sorry, not onto Shu, but onto Hoppa. If they get to use those and save the Zarya and come through with a regular team fight right afterwards, I mean, the Valiant have no tools for the next push. They took a huge risk, but it paid off in the end. EMP is ready for this first push. Should be able to get Hoppa another Graviton Surge as well as identify the ults left. When he hits the EMP, they will get a better assessment of the ult charge as to who has ults and who does not.
Eileen's been spotted, just gonna take a short hop over with the translocator. Make sure that he's not gonna get taken down. Trying to play forward here, onto the point, the EMP now gonna be dropped in. Catches out 3 members, Space and Custa both gonna be eliminated. They would even live it on for a little bit longer, it would seem, but either way, the push there from the Valiant going to be halted, but they do manage to build up their ultimates for the next approach.
So that ult there confirmed that neither support ultimates were ready for the Valiant yet, but now they know they have both. And that means that this next Graviton Surge has to be used correctly, and there has to be shield blocks on the Transcendence potentially to shut this down. And they have to also be aware that KSF's grabs have been better than Happy's overall. Hoppa's playing the Zarya this time, but they gotta watch out for that too. As KSF rolls forward.
Rallies out from both sides. Graviton Surge comes in and Hoppa being focus-fired will fall. Transcendence now in response to the Earth Shatter. Very nicely timed here from Karif. Keeps everybody else alive and in the fight. Eileen spot him out in the back. 75% towards that next EMP. Valiant though, catching the second tick on the point. They have to start contesting this one. Pushing their way forward, the barrier gonna be coming down from Chara. Lob in from behind, Hoppa gets the Graviton Surge into space, gonna be knocked out of the mech.
Stun that
down
EMP.
from Fact Fiction. Manages to stun up Rio, and KSF scoops a kill there, and on Eileen. They zone him back off the point. And LA Valiant, they get the cap on B.
Insane shutdown of the EMP as well. That's the scariest part of this. And the Valiant, consistent play. They're playing better in the Zarya aspect, and it is coming up so well for them here against the Charge.
Given a bit of trouble, but 2:16 is the finishing timing for the Valiant. Let's see what the Charge can get on their attack.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. The Guangzhou Charge were coming up against the Chengdu Hunters in Game 1 of their set when Rio hit around the corner waiting for the right opportunity to ult. As soon as Hoppa threw in Diva's mech, Rio charged in and set up the triple kill.
And welcome back. Getting ready for the Guangzhou Charge attack here on Horizon Lunar Colony. Valiant were able to push forward cap B and have a remaining time bank of 2 minutes and 16 seconds.
Yeah, it's a really, I mean, I don't want to say it's the greatest time bank of all time, but it feels pretty solid given how this series has been going for them. And the, Zarya versus Zarya, well in favor of KSF right now. in terms of efficiency, the Charge is not able to pair everything together, and it's the supports on the Valiant that are making that possible. Nice shutdown there earlier as well. We're going to take a look at this one more time as Eileen tries to save this fight with the EMP, but he's caught by the Shatter.
Yep.
And, you know,
Unlucky.
unlucky, I guess you could say. But
Go next.
for the Charge, they're going to be running the same comp to attack. Papa once again on the Zarya. So his original role as a flex tank, actually, even though it's not really his main role here, that's Happy's, but back on LW Red, was a great Zarya player. Eileen just gonna try to threaten the back here and also potentially just try to back cap and threaten a drop down.
That was
Play with fire.
That was a jump scare right there. Agility's coming at your face, shield bash ready to go, but does jump back at the last possible second, the last possible frame before he would get stunned and potentially annihilated. Is building up 44% at the moment towards that EMP. The hack on agility, so Valiant drops off that high ground. And that shows a bit of respect here to the Charge. Reapproach now coming through. Eileen setting up the back door, as Soper calls it, so is ready to jump out. Just continues to try to harass Agility's down. Space in the meantime, though, drops low, can't get behind the shield, so will get popped out of the mech.
All right, right now, the EMP is so critical, and he doesn't have it yet. He's threatened again. He has to translocate away. He may not survive.
Yeah, I mean, really good spy checking coming through from the Valiant. They know exactly where he was leaping toward. He nearly does have that EMP, has to get a bit of health back. Now is going to be topped up. The rest of the Valiant playing forward onto the point, where Charge have already snatched up 2 ticks, but Hoppa going to be taken down. At 68% there, he got taken out. Grab's still going to be on the way. This gives KSF an opportunity to really surge forward and have that ready for the next push.
Really good communication by the Valiant to play so well around Eileen and also be willing to give up 2 ticks. Sometimes it's actually correct to just walk away, reset up to contest when you have the better setup to fight. If you just try to walk in and contest before that to stop any ticks at all, then you might just die straight up and lose the whole thing. So being really conservative about how they recontest it, but now they're gonna have to deal with this EMP. Korea has had great sentences throughout this series so far for those. And right now, Eileen's looking for him.
Yeah, not looking for it there on that push. Now, translocates in, but Korea again manages to pop the Transcendence, but the damage is just too quick on Impact Fiction, so does get taken down. Rio barely surviving, dropped the hammer, got multiple knockdowns onto the Valiant members. That will be the cleanup here. And they still have 4 ultimates in their arsenal to try to get this snowball cap onto B.
And remember, that's the other thing about Sombra is you kind of get to cheat ult economy. You force out the transfer Kareev, but then when you head into B, he doesn't have it anymore for the Graviton Surge, and that's why Sombra has really made her way into this meta in particular, because the response for 2 major ultimates is the same, and there's just no way you're going to build another trance that quickly. Papa on the high ground, he's going to be the playmaker here, and this is how they can much better the time bank of the Valiant, is this fight right here.
Yeah, bubble forward as Rio pushes up, trying to get another shatter online. Agility's just gonna get melted by Hotbutt. Now the grab comes in response to that sound barrier. Space dumping the bomb, trying to find a pick. Is unable to do so, makes it back into the mech safely, but Fact Fiction dies in the middle of that Earth Shatter cast. And just like that, the Charge, they managed to get the snowball working their way up. A Wrecking Ball going to be coming through for Agilities. Already taking a lot of damage. The Shatter not quite going to be finding a connection onto him, but EMP comes through. KSF can't dash away, cannot retreat, and it's just a matter of time. As Fact Fiction barely jumps off the point, they get the cap with a superior time bank.
Sombra's a terrifying hero to play against. You've only got 1 Transcendence. You know, pick your poison. Defend the EMP or defend the grab. You can't defend both if you can't win that neutral fight.
2 minutes, 2 seconds, the advantage here for the Charge, finishing with 418. Let's see who can do the best here when we come back for the OT rounds. here we go. As stated, 2 minutes plus for the charge. Valiant gonna be looking to do more with less as they get ready to go on their attack here in overtime.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about it all day. I mean, I feel like we've talked about it all season because of how this meta has been. But time bank can really just be irrelevant if you can get a double cap, which happens so often. You can get a double cap here and then go for the defense. I mean, you could turn this around. I mean, this is absolutely winnable for the Valiant. So I think they're not, you know, you're not happy about it, but you're not feeling hopeless either, especially when you're up 1-0. And they are going to be playing against the Sombra once more, so pressure on the supports from playing well in this series thus far.
So far, Eileen hasn't really gotten any sightlines to try to build up. Just now getting a bit of damage through, but chunked out the half, does have to retreat. Slow build for KSF as far as his energy is concerned. Soaks up that fire strike, gets himself above 50. Still slow going.
And this is rough because you really need to get that ultimate up fast, and the Charge are just playing around KSF so well, not letting him build it because they know that's Valiant's best win condition with this composition. When your opponent's Zenyatta is ahead of your grab charge, it's going to be a tough time when you get a small time bank.
Well, Eileen just playing up with the rest of the squad now on the high ground. Just trying to get that EMP online. Nice hack goes forward onto Custa. Space takes a lot of damage. They're working their way up. They've already been given 2 ticks for free. Now Rio dropping down, happy with the sliver of HP, trying to survive. Backfiction will be able to take him out. But Hotpa manages to go ahead and answer back, get some vengeance onto that Reinhardt. Grab gonna come out, Hotpa lobbing that one through, catches the rest of the Valiant off the point. The kills will now follow. Karif with a sliver of HP, trying to hide around the corner, but they hound him down. They make it up to 92.6%, but now they have one more chance with just a grab.
Same catch-22, you know, you trance the EMP, but the grab comes out second. They've got their Graviton Surge now, and they know Chara's gonna have the sound barrier. Oh, this could be a stagger. Nice play by Agility's getting that armor pack on him to keep him alive. They've got one shot at this, and it's gonna have to be on the back of KSF and Fact Fiction. If he can get a follow-up shatter, he's been punished so many times when he's attempted it. Now's his shot at redemption.
Eileen already into the back orb of Harmony, waiting for that Sombra in case he takes any damage. They start taking their way up again. Now the charge, go for the approach. Caught in the grab, Fact Fiction gets a huge pin onto Chara. Takes him out of the fight, and I believe he might have even denied away the sound barrier. Now Rio taken down. Swinging here, the bubble comes through, and the Valiant will be able to win the fight. 30 more seconds put onto the clock. Ultimate's on the way to grab the furthest. Could push in here with nearly 5.
It's all about this EMP right now. Karib can build the last part of the Transcends. This is winnable for the Valiant. This is doable. They can make this happen.
They nearly get the first tick. Rio taking a lot of damage as they push forward. EMP now going to be coming through. The barrier comes in. They stack the support ultimates on top. See if that is going to bite them in the rear here at the end. Shatter forward from Fact Fiction. Doesn't get anything. They gain a tick. Bomb into the back from space. Doesn't find anything. The Baby Diva will get taken down by Happy. Grab off the point. Fact Fiction going to get caught.
They need to touch.
Ticks nearly get grabbed here. Chara going to be taken down. They fight tooth and nail to try to get more on this point. Rio, nice back angle, swinging away, trying to take that KSF. He's got a sliver of HP, nearly a grab, but will fall. And the OT bar will go ahead and plummet down. But Valiant, they get a lot of work done with a very small time bank.
See the high five there for Costa in space. There's mixed emotions because you can't be unhappy with a small time bank like that, getting, you know, a few ticks on point B. But at the same time, you know, you wanted more and you were so close. The support ultimate stacking there, you know, it's not what you want, but at the same time, you're in a panicked state. And if you can hit those double support ultimates, or rather, if you could just survive with either support ultimate, you know, if you stack them and you live, it doesn't matter. If you could live through that, you know that Chara and Shu both don't have support ults because Chara's was just canceled. Shu had used his previously. Then maybe you get B with 30 seconds left. It could have been so great, but it's still 60.4%, and now it's all about the defense. And that's what the Valiant was counting on when they saw they were 2 minutes the weaker of the time banks. For the charge, you're just trying to hit an EMP into a grab, and you could do it twice. And if you could do that, the map is over. I mean, you're still in a fantastic position here as the charge. especially because they're so good at the Sombra, and that's what they are using here, because Sombra is going to build EMPs quickly. And if you could just basically make sure you stagger your EMPs and your grab versus the Transcendence, on paper, in theory, as long as Valiant aren't crushing and dominating you in the neutral, eventually you win. And that is the idea with this Sombra comp, and that's how many of these teams have gotten some wins in recent times with the Sombra.
Yep. Well, Eileen already gonna get spied, so translocator used. Just gonna have to wait for the next one.
Slowing it down any way possible is going to be how the Valiant eventually win this. You can see Space checking, hunting him down, but he misses this time, so he does get into the back line. And that hack onto Space that we're about to potentially see is going to be a lot of ult charge.
Oh, Kariv got tagged up. Eileen couldn't really get the bullets through there. Only builds up to 22%. 60.4% is what the charge have to exceed on point B. Playing this one out patiently so far.
Kariv is going to need to be hitting the left clicks and the shots as well, and he's not really so much right now. He needs that trance. He is racing for it.
Yeah.
Because that is the only way they're going to have a shot at dealing with these two big ultimates with the time bank the charge have. And they are just playing the ult game right now. They're not trying to push in. They're not trying to speed boost into a fight on the point. They just want to build EMP, and they want to build Grav.
He is getting harassed like crazy every twist and turn. Whether it's Shu or Eileen, constantly putting pressure on this Zenyatta because they know that he is the X factor for the Valiant.
Yeah, you can see even, you know, coming through from Chara. He's not going to let him poke. He's not going to let him get free right-click damage.
Eileen back over onto the point again, contesting. Kassa going to be dropping down and actually gets taken out. Kariv comes in from behind, shuts him out, but there's still time in the bank here for the charge. It's one of many battles that has to be won for the Valiant to take this.
It's kills like these that are really going to put you in a position to potentially win this map and even potentially full hold. It's not enough yet to say that they can hold it, because remember, double ultimate's coming up soon, but Hapa, you know, he also, because of how passively they're playing around, slowly burning these ultimates in, that he doesn't have it yet. So the Valiant, there's a world where they EMP, Trans blocks it, and then he can build another one for Hoppa's grab. I mean, he's building it so slowly.
EMP up the top, Kariv nails it again. This time Back Fiction will be able to survive for a bit longer. Shatter down from Rio, manages to catch 3 up onto the high ground. The beat comes through from Kassa as they try to stay alive. Grab out now from Hotba. Back Fiction gonna be the first one to fall. Tries to drop the hammer, stuns up Shu in the back. But no one able to collapse on top of that Zenyatta to get the kill. Now Agility's going down the front line, suffering heavily. And Eileen nearly has another EMP.
You gotta let it go.
On to B.
You gotta let it go if you're Valiant. You have to let it go. They've gotta leave. Because this is, I mean, it's a speed run now. This point unlocks, when B unlocks, charge are rushing in. You've got no trance, you've got no sound barrier. They have EMP and you know it. You're gonna have to try to fight off the point, but at B with all your members alive. If KSF can try to hit a big grab before they can set up for the EMP fight, I think that's their best shot. Space might be able to hit, you know, a defensive self-destruct, but I mean, you're really hoping, you're really praying right now if you're a Valiant fan.
He's already behind them and he sees Kariv.
Here they come. Opposite angle.
Out. They drop down. Kariv dropping into the back. The EMP catches him, looking for the shots. They managed to finish him off with the fire strike. Back Fiction taken down. KSF falling as well. And they just did not stand a chance. Shu filling the kill feed, a triple for him. As they just go ahead, start ticking their way up to victory. Back Fiction goes for the wrecking ball, but instant hack, instant death, and now we are suddenly tied up 1-1.
A glimpse into why Sombra is so meta here in stage 3. But Achilles, we got our first real series of the day. Very competitive one here.
Like we said, scrappy.
Our final one, yeah.
The back and forth coming through. We'll see how much more that extends when we see you guys on the other side of halftime.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
The last match of the night is looking like a tight one. After the Valiant took map 1, it was the Charge bouncing back with a win on Horizon to even things up at 1 apiece at the half. What's up, Malik here with Bryn and Mr. X. Guys, so far in this matchup, the Valiant looks solid up top at Ilios, right? Pretty solid.
Yes, I think that they're currently doing very well when it comes to just the neutral engagement.
Just neutral goats.
And it feels like I've said that a lot with these teams, but honestly, the Valiant have made tremendous progress from where they were left off from the previous stages. Like, we can't really highlight enough how good of an impact it has been having Fact Fishing come into this team.
Yes, I was going to say that. Yeah, he definitely looks like he's being a difference maker. I think already, I think him and Space have really good synergy with each other. I think, you know, when they had Fate on the lineup, I think he was good early on. It was good last year, right? I just don't think, you know, as time went on, all the personalities on this team really kind of worked out.
Yeah, Fact Fiction looks like he fits into the
way
puzzle
better,
a lot better.
Yeah, and it was a little bit of an early start for Guangzhou. It felt like it was almost going their way, and for some reason with Guangzhou, it feels like it's the cheese strats that almost get him every time. Rio with the Wrecking Ball, bit of a rare pick that we don't see too often on the well, trying to knock the targets into the well. I mean, it happened occasionally, but Valiant are very good at what I found at adapting on the fly to a lot of the strats that are being chucked at them from the charge.
I feel like on the scale of like craziness, how teams play, like the Hunters are obviously the craziest, right? But then I feel like the Charge
not too far
like,
behind.
They're not too far behind.
They're
the difference is like the Hunters play like the crazy game way better than the Charge.
Yeah.
The Charge probably play the better, as you would call it, like neutral.
Neutral.
I love it, man.
Triple tank, triple
bringing
support.
the smash term over.
Yeah, I think they probably play a better, you know, traditional than the Hunters. But I think you need to really, if you're gonna play the cheese like crazy comps, you need to like master them.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about Sombra.
Oh boy.
Because Sombra Goats seems to be the new thing moving forward, man. We saw Eileen pop off on Sombra at Horizon, man. How do you guys feel about this amazing performance?
Look, I mean, you take all of their abilities away, and you have your abilities. There's a really good chance you're going to win the fight.
That's our quality analysis.
And Sombra can definitely do that. I mean, every time. You know, the craziest one was OT, where they use the.
I mean, we're gonna see it.
The fight goes forever, and then he builds up another EMP. You have no way you can survive that if you're the Valiant. There's nothing you can do.
But the Chargers game plan, this entire map so far, has been just kind of playing a slow, not even trying to force any fights whatsoever, but entirely playing around Eileen's EMPs. And with the Valiant, you have to play perfectly, right, around this. Because if you let them get a bigger time bank, which happened here in the overtime, all Charge have to do is build around the EMPs and play around it.
But they played perfectly in the overtime, the Valiant. No, they got they got theirs when they used the EMP up on the high ground. They got the support ults off. The bad part is the fight goes for so long because there's 3 support ults for the Charge as well.
Another EMP.
They have another EMP.
Right. It's like a technicality. I think of you know, traditional sport like football, where you're running the clock, you're kneeing, you're doing all that. I feel like this is another technicality here in the Overwatch League we're starting to see now with Sombra.
It would kind of be like if once every minute in football, you could kind of take all of the defensive linemen and just move them out and just run with the ball, for a little bit.
All right. Well, let me tell you, somebody who has not been liking the Sombra Goats meta right now is Custa from the LA Valiant. He actually has something that he tweeted a little bit earlier. If the Sombra Goats becomes the league meta, I'm going to cry myself to sleep.
He's got to hide behind like walls and pillars, and it makes it way
He might be crying himself to sleep tonight.
And then even when he's in good positioning, it still may not be even enough. So I think that's where you see the frustration a little bit with Custa.
Yeah, I think I agree with Custa. I think I'm going to cry myself to sleep too if I see much more of this. I don't know.
Cathartic.
There's something about the passiveness of it. Come on, man, just fight. Just fight. All right.
Just fight.
Map 3. We got Numbani.
Yeah.
Is this a map we might see some more of this Sombra Goats on?
Without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Oh, yeah, big time.
I mean, I think Sombra's very strong on Numbani, just like Horizon.
Yeah. Brent?
I concur completely.
You concur?
Yeah, I concur completely. I think Custer's going to have to get the tissues ready.
All right, well, the LA Valiant better be ready because right now it is all tied up 1-1. And they need 2 more maps if they're going to win this one. So, guys, we're going to see what happens right after the break. Stay tuned. More Overwatch coming up.
일단 제 이 프로게이머라는 직업이 저의 첫 사회 생활이면서 첫 직업이었는데 미국에서 쭉 일하고 있는데요.
부모님들은 그냥 열심히 하라 정도? 그냥 이제 네가 할 거 일 찾았으니까 열심히 해봐라 그 정도?
하시는 것 같아요. 근데 뭐 제 입장에서는 당연히 다 부셔버리고 오겠다는 마인드로 게임 하는 것 같아요.
champions. Make some noise for the current holders of the California Cup.
That's right, guys. Coming up on August 24th and 25th, LA Valiant. We'll have that rivalry weekend coming up in August, so make sure you guys get your tickets available now. Dallas was amazing. Atlanta looks to be equally as amazing, so you certainly don't want to miss that event at LA Live.
So many quality games at that event, and it's exciting for all the California fans who can come locally as well. Some of them may be a little bit, far to come down to the arena, but with a big event like this, you can make it worth it, I think, to make that trek.
Absolutely. I mean, fly in, whatever. Take a weekend off.
I'll be
Best
there.
off work, forehead. It's easy.
I'll be there.
Just buy a plane ticket. But it should honestly be a fantastic homestand. We're going to Atlanta pretty soon. I'm sure you're very excited about that.
Yeah.
Go back home again. But it's going to be interesting to see how many people pour in and support the California teams during that. And who's going to come out on top with the battle for LA. But back to our series at hand here. Valiant unable to get a victory on Horizon, so we find ourselves tied up 1-1 in this series. Charge with that Sombra have been looking quite clean.
Yeah, and as Brendan, Mr. X were alluding to earlier, Numbani is a great map for Sombra. See it a lot here. And it's rough, The best ways to deal with Sombra is oftentimes to just prevent the ult charge from coming through. A lot of the pressure here is going to be on space. And you find the Sombra, then can Agility stun the Sombra? Can you force the Sombra away? Or we saw a failed Sombra earlier with Dako. For those who remember the Atlanta series, it's because he was tracked down and pressured so much. And he wasn't harassing anybody. He was being harassed as the Sombra. If you can make that happen, easier said than done, then you're not going to be dealing with as many EMPs. We are going to see, not just the Sombra goats here, though. It is going to be triple DPS.
Yep.
The Ana variation here versus Reinhardt Zarya. Hoppa taking the flanking angle.
They're trying to apply some pressure here. In fact, Fiction shield, taking that as much as possible. Rio on the low ground gets tagged up, has that mega pack to rely on, so we'll be okay. And Shu is hovering nearby to keep him topped up.
Happy hasn't been able to do anything this round. He hasn't been able to get line of sight. He's coming around a different angle now. You can see him coming up through the center.
That's going to be Griff taking down the pile driver from Rio. Just putting him in the grave now. Custa gone. No supports here for the Valiant, and HP bars in shambles. KSF trying to trade something back. Agility's very low, gets that bubble for a little bit, but the Helix Rockets from Happy take him out. And that's just going to be going the way of Charge. A bit of a slow approach on this first push, but they get it all the same.
I mean, Hoppa and Rio basically is 2v6'd. Eileen was trying to poke the entire time. Happy was trying to find line of sight. And Shu and Chara didn't heal all too much in that fight. They're just going to swap it up. They don't need this Pharah. They don't need any of this. They keep the Sombra only. And then there's your Sombra goats.
Yep.
So, I mean, that was insanely bad for the Valiant, that happened so easily. They built almost no ultimates. Look at the ults on the Valiant.
I mean, you got to bear in mind, Karim is also playing the Ana, so not going to have a Transcendence to try to heal through the EMP.
Yeah, unless they somehow interrupt Eileen, the EMP is a free fight.
Yeah, well, Karim is going to be one of the ones hacked out, as is Fact Fiction. Healed an eye onto Agilities in space. Leads to the death of that Brigada.
You've got to have a better defense on A against this style of play, or you're just going to get wrecked. Because guess what? What happens next is the Sombra EMP leads into more ult charge. Hoppa just swapped to the Zarya. Oh, he's about to catch up to KSF. Rio, way ahead of Fact Fiction's Winston. He's just swapped over to the Rhine. And suddenly you've just swapped to this comp, and then you've already taken a lead in ult economy practically here. And they're gonna take a fight here on B pretty soon. The Valiant need to be proactive here. They need to be aggressive.
That's gonna be the Nano tossed in. As Rio starts swinging away. Stuff for the moment, but stands right back up, takes down Fact Fiction. Hammer down, comes through. Earth Shatter nets 2 stuns. KSF able to get back up, does have that Graviton Surge. We'll see if they want to continue the fight. Looks like they're going to be able to do that. Get the kill onto Eileen. Grav comes through, Hoppa taken down. Valiant, they do manage to stop the cart just in front of B. There's still 3.5 minutes in the clock for Guangzhou.
Costa said he might cry himself to sleep if Sombra becomes the meta, Sombra goats. I think we've crossed that line now. It's a little bit more off meta to not run it at this point, with every team, including Vancouver, running it. EMP is ready. He doesn't have a sound barrier because he just used it to prevent the B take during the nano fight. There's no answer for this EMP, so once again, barring a shutdown of this ultimate, this should be a free fight.
Yep, gonna be looking for a shield bash or a sleep dart, but it's not gonna happen. Instantly, 4 members hacked out. Space uses the bomb, tosses it into the back to try to find a pick, but it's unable to do so. Back into the mech safely as the grab comes in from Hotba.
A great bio, though.
But as you say, bio looking pretty good. Custa nearly going down, gets the armor pack out from Agility, so nearly has that rally online. Might be enough to keep him alive in this next fight. Sleep onto Rio as he's nanoed. Somebody woke him back up. Now the barrier comes through. That's a big Rhine. Space gonna be taken down out of the mech. Shatter about to be online. Rio with a sliver of HP will get burnt down. Agility's pushes forward. An answering nano Rhine out from Fact Fiction.
Can we talk about Kareev for a second? 2 massive bio grenades, not onto the opponent's team, but onto his team, giving AoE healing, allowing Custa to amp up the healing and keep them alive throughout all of these ultimates. Then he gets the nano for the clear. Amazing bio grenades. Sometimes it's hard to make the call to bio your own team instead of your opponent's team because the heal deny could sometimes be way more valuable, but in this case, he hits 2 big bios onto his team and saves them that healing output. Absolutely keeps their chances of holding B alive. Now they got to deal with, once again, EMP. Costa's got the sound barrier because Kareev was able to keep them alive through those last fights. So now suddenly, Valiant could turn this around. They could shift the momentum back. The pendulum could swing back into their favor.
Sleep on the Eileen, they catch him!
There you go, Kareev again!
This Ana, slow start for him. A bit of a slow burn, it would seem, but now he's coming alive.
Well, maybe it's the Sombra will be crying in her sleep as Kareev gets the sleep dart.
He's looking for that. He heard that Custa was upset.
It's not over yet, but Custa's got another opportunity here again. Grab comes out first.
Yep, Shu absolutely just disintegrates. Rio as well. Bionade for good measure.
It's always harder to deal with the Sombra when you're down on ultimates too. When you're ahead like this, you can actually take the fight to the Sombra team. You can take a fight off the point. Eileen's trying to set up for an EMP on the cart to try to grab B. You go up almost all the way to A and grab them first and don't give the Sombra even an opportunity.
Well, you remember when I said they had 3.5 minutes? Now we're down below 1:45 seconds on the clock for the charge. EMP shatter, grab online. A couple others on the way.
He's looking for Custa if he can find him.
Custa's over onto the side.
Custa's way in the back.
I believe he just used the sleep dart. Actually hacked now on a Kareev as he drops down. Eileen gets tagged once. Back here, EMP now gets down through. Multiple people gonna get hacked out. Custa is EMP'd. Still no kills onto him though. But with the front line getting broken down, Custa just gonna be able to save that barrier, or rather be forced to save that barrier for the final stretch. Charge barely making it through into point B. 13 seconds remaining at that point. Now go ahead, bump up. 1:35 for the final stretch. Valiant certainly could hold this.
Insane patience on the charge. 15 seconds left. You make the call to not EMP first. Even though they had Custa in line of sight, you take the slower fight. You threaten the shatter. You hit the shatter. Custa has to come back in. You see him speed boost towards his team, but then gets caught by the EMP. They keep the grab. And it's all very risky because you only have a small amount of time bank, but it's calculated.
Bomb out from space, looking for a pick. It's Shu. Takes him down. Chara with a sliver of HP. Does make it out of there, but Rio cannot say the same. Good punish here from the Valiant, but limited on ultimates. Another sub-minute time bank here for the charge now as Eileen gets picked off on the back end.
Space, that stagger kill, that's always the Diva's job to identify the Sombra. Commonly called spy checking, but identifying where the cloaked Sombra is and forcing her to translocate is usually the Diva's job because she doesn't have ammo and she's high mobility. And also, you want to defend yourself because the Sombra's going to hack you and farm you for ult charge. So it's, you know, it really is a flex tank matchup. You know, Eileen versus Space in this case.
Oh.
Grab's ready, EMP to parry it. Kareev doesn't even have trance. This is going to be a really tough fight for the Valiant to win, but even if they lose it, they could contest again. So maybe it's best to just hold ults here, lose this fight on purpose, and contest for C.
Either way, it's going to be a starting push in OT. Hotba low energy for now. Looking for an opportunity. Fact Fiction nearly taken down. The EMP going to be dumped in. Karif, the only one who doesn't get hacked by it, but he does not have the transcendence in time. He said saving ults for the end is what's going to happen, not really by their choice, but just kind of by the circumstances. Charge, however, still holding on to 4. They lost Happy, the only casualty for them in the fight.
As long as Fact Fiction survives here, which he should, he's gone all the way back to spawn. They've got a great opportunity to win this with their support ultimates. It's going to be an even fight here. Grab v grab. The later support ultimates will probably decide this unless someone gets picked early. So it's all about patience here.
Grab in onto the Rhine Shield, pushing up, looking for that kill on the Chara. The Transcendence comes through. Shu manages to keep him topped up. Shatter gets dropped in. Chara manages to beat. Now the answering Shatter out from Rio. And just 3 members on the side of the Valiant. Kriv's gonna get taken down by the Fire Strike. Space hacked out, has that self-destruct, might be able to buy them enough space to zone charge off of the cart. Goes ahead, uses the bomb to jump back to Eileen, who nearly has another EMP online. Keeps himself alive. Jump up over the top, looking for a bit more, throws it down. They'll clean him up, they'll roll through. They get the finish here on Numbani, but it's in overtime. No time bank here for the Charge.
Yeah, very much the later sound barrier from Chara as well. Having that extra overshielding when it mattered most gets them the C capture. No time bank, but I mean, given the circumstances, you're pretty happy with this as the Charge.
Well, we'll see how the Valiant fares on their attack when we come back for their half.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
You're powered up. Get in there. Огонь по готовности.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Guangzhou Charge able to push to the end of Numbani, but with no time in the bank. Valiant, if they can get some time established, they'll just go ahead and have to one final attack in an extra overtime round. Take 1 tick and then can take the map. We'll see if they can get that far.
That's the question, and I think a lot of people will be surprised about the composition we are going to see come out here for the Charge on their defense, given how things have gone so far. And I could cheat and I could see it, and I'm not going to spoil it. There it is. Eileen on Brigitte, Happy Zarya, Mirror outside of, obviously, the Reinhardt here. And as soon as the Valiant see this, I think they're going to match. But this is a different variation, right? This is Winston. This is going to be playing around the choke point to the staircase to the left side from Valiant's perspective. And they're going to try to use that choke to get a fast primal. Bit of a gamble for the Charge, given how well the Sombra's been working so far.
Yeah, changing things up a bit. Valiant, not really changing things up. Just gonna go ahead.
They almost
do a match, as you said. They were teasing the idea, but as soon as they see that 3-3, they decide to go ahead, flip over to it as well.
Look at this
Rio
choke.
getting a lot of cleave damage here.
So
Stomp coming in. They managed to stun him up. He'll drop onto the low ground, but he is going to be perfectly safe here. That Orb of Harmony keeps rolling through. As I say that, though, the tag's coming in drops the bubble as he goes back up with a leap. Stays alive. In fact, Fiction's going to be taken down, and you can see he's unable to do anything really in this situation.
You can't really run, the Winston on attack, but when you run the defensive Winston, this first push in particular always really crushes the attacking team through the choke. You can't take the center path either, or you're just going to get cut in half. So you have to hope for a really good bubble to break through here, and then get a pick. But Primal's ready.
Yeah, they see Char going for that boot. Now the Primal Rage coming out, rallying, used by Agilities. Rio getting tagged up massively here. Nearly goes down, has to retreat all the way around the backside to pick up the Mega Pack. Will be alive. Rally expired now for the Valiant. Still armored up, or several members. Gained 2.5 ticks in the meantime. Dropping down, Happy. Nearly has his Graviton Surge online. He's looking for Fact Fiction. Dangerously low. Kariv pops the Transcendence. And Happy can just play this one patiently. Drops in that Graviton Surge. The Transcendence is gone, but no one can get any kills on top of it. Space throws a bomb up over towards that high ground. Doesn't quite land up there, but Eileen's still going to be taken down by the Zenyatta from the Valiant. Rio now burned out 100 energy just about here from KSF. It's just an absolute monster. They ripped them to pieces, and despite the start, despite the Transcendence being used before the grab, Valiant still come out on top, and now they've got 4+ minutes in the time bank.
Love to see how the supports, in fact, Kariv and Costa destroyed Eileen, who was isolated on the top side there on the grab came through from KSF. And, Rio played a great Winston. I mean, he really knew his limits. Surviving twice, they had the grab perfectly done. But the coordination and killing single targets just isn't as good for the Charge in these situations. It's why they're reliant on the Sombra, and it's why it's so surprising to see them swap it up now, especially given that they don't even have a time bank. You really need to crush this if you're hoping to take a lead in this series. The Valiant in a huge lead right now.
Yep. Bubble forward, Happy taking so much damage. Griff is able to pick him off. Shatter online, and just so much space being given over to the Valiant here as they just casually cruise up into point B. Monstrous time bank, just shy of 5 minutes now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Charge, you can't contest that. You don't have the ults to do it. If you try to and fail, you waste your support ults and you give KSF a grab. You really just have to play around this corner and hope for something like a Chara knockback onto Fact Fiction, trying to punish him for playing forward, but it's not going to happen. They have to retreat around. I mean, this is looking like a great time bank.
Absolutely. I mean, any time bank is better than none. Sound barrier comes in, but a little bit too late. KSF is just melting people left and right. Happy and Eileen both taken out by him. Kariv as well, dragging out of control. A double for the Zenyatta. Noah is watching in the back room, I'm sure, just slowly nodding in agreement.
Front row of the crowd for the Valiant standing up. Standing ovation for this push. 4 minutes.
I mean, they almost just roll it straight through, and there you go, they will. Papa gets taken down, the Baby Diva melted before the bomb can even go off, and Valiant, they've got time on the board.
Yep. Unwinnable for the Charge. The best they can hope for is a draw heading into Escort, and it's going to be a long defense before that happens.
4 minutes even, let's see if they can pull it off. Here we go. Overtime on Numbani. LA Valiant with 4 minutes. Even in the time bank Charge were unable to finish with any. So now they have to defend a single tick on A for 4 straight minutes in order to force a draw.
So one of the reasons why you don't see Sombra here on A, at least for the defense, why it's harder to use, is because you're playing around the same choke point Rio's not going to utilize the Winston Tesla gun with. And that makes it easier to get stunned, trapped, killed. You can't hide, you can't use the open space. And if you try to play far back or on the other side, you can't hit the Valiant, in this case, is Eileen. So that's why the Winston makes sense, at least for A, right? Could have swapped later, but they decided not to. In this case, when your opponent has 4 minutes of time, it's kind of a catch-22 situation here. You can't run the Sombra, but how long is the Winston really going to work out for you against a 4-minute time bank and 1 tick to win it?
Push around the corner instantly. Spot out Hadpa. Eileen gets stunned up for the moment. Will be safe, but KSF is just raking his energy. Space taking a quick nap on the back end. Now stands up, gets right back into the action with the rest of his squad. Hadpa, every time he turns that corner, just starts getting melted by KSF, who has been a pretty monstrous Zarya for his team so far in this series. And speaking of which, that's gonna be Chara taken down while wall riding. Beautiful tracking, as they say. Primal Rage gonna get popped by Rio, trying to buy some space, trying to buy some time here for his squad. They need to stay glued to that point, but Eileen pushed all the way out into the back just to try to survive. Hadpa goes in deep. He's not able to come up with any kills. Now the Primal Rage expired. Rio is pushed out of the bubble, taken down. Happy's grab eaten by Space, and that should just be it. Solo grab onto the enemy Zarya here on the high ground. The bio nade, the shots coming through is just not enough for him to stay alive. Cleanup comes through as Chara hits the ground. The armor pack not nearly enough. They'll get rid of Rio. They'll take the point. The LA Valiant, they move up 2-1.
Chara not respecting the high energy Zarya there, looking for a knock-off. It does not happen. KSF leads the charge, gets that opening kill, and this series may slip away from the Guangzhou charge.
Well, now need to try to bring it back and tie us again. Let's see if they can do it when we come back from the break.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Готовности.
Overwatch Grand Finals and cheesesteaks, what a perfect combination. Going to Philadelphia, the Wells Fargo Center at the end of the 2019 season. Make sure you guys get your tickets. I cannot wait to go back home. It's gonna be awesome.
Going to be a great finals. No doubt. We got a lot of rivalries here in the Overwatch League built up. We won't know for a while who ends up there yet, because anything can still happen.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, either of these teams, in theory, could make it there, but it's a long, long climb.
It's mathematically possible.
It's mathematically possible. That's the nicest thing we can say. Is it realistic? No. Is it something you should hope for? No. Is it? Is it mathematically possible? We have to go back and check. No.
I think it is. But here we go. Taking a look at the maps now instead of the math. Havana coming up, and we were already talking about this and how this kind of does play to Guangzhou's play style. We'll see if they're going to go for the crazy stuff, and looks like they are. The bunker setup coming through, and we're already into game, not wasting any time. Valiant starting to push out with agilities on that far at KSF on the Hanzo.
So talking about this real quick, you know, we knew that there was a high chance we'd see Bunker from the charge. They like to run it. Happy on the Widow. We talked about this at the beginning of the series. Going to see the Sombra for that extra protection as well as you say, the Chara.
Oh, hook comes down, Rio.
Well,
Already out of the equation. KSF scoops himself a double kill. Happy does manage to trade one back.
Can't Immortality field that one, I'm afraid.
No, you cannot. Pulled straight out of it.
The bunker is over for this one.
Yeah, it's been busted.
That's all it takes. I mean, Kareev is just, he is playing the game of his life right now.
He's been an absolute monster for the LA Valiant today. Putting them back on the board. Oh, the hook coming through. Kareev that's himself another one. Will get taken down by Eileen. And Eileen actually comes up with a double, as KSF will also be eliminated. Still a long ways away from that EMP, but this is a potential opportunity for the charge to set up this bunker again.
They can set it up again. The barrier there from the Fact Fiction shield there, that shield was broken, and they weren't looking at that angle when the setup happened again. It looks like the Valiant were a little bit surprised to see the charge attempt to set up again on the right side. Now they get their high ground back. That's the attempt here. It's going to be off to a different side than it was previously, the right side here behind this pickup. Very difficult to assault this with Roadhog because you don't have a nice angle.
Yeah, that. Griv is just taking a plethora of damage here. Hoppa gets stacked up a little bit, but Eileen finds another pick as Agilities goes down. Custa gets the res. Now they're going to have to try to displace him again. Hotba to get a lot of damage. Immortality field just in time. Does save his life. Now the EMP comes out. Hacks 5 members of the Valiant. Only Agility safe from that one. Eileen just continues forward, scooping up these kills. They nearly get the card advanced into A, but get stopped right here, just shy of 5 meters away.
It's a razor thin, you know, knife's edge you're walking on when you're trying to break this point, because you've got to collapse on the Hoppa. He's got an Immortality field. You've got to focus that down. But all the while, you're dealing with, you know, the Happy Widow angle, which is on a different line of sight. So if you focus on that, then you expose yourself to the Bastion. You're dealing with a highly mobile, hacking hero in the Sombra. And by the time you reset, there's another Immortality field ready. You know, it's a nightmare to try to break this.
Yep. Now the Ant Matrix comes through here. Dragon Strike tossed in. Hack onto KSF, but seems like he's going to be doing all right. Chara gets taken down. KSF dragged through. Rio is able to burn him down, finds that kill. Kareev in the meantime pushing forward, looking to finish off Hotba. Couldn't quite nail him. Now Kareev's going to be eliminated as Eileen comes up with another kill. Agilities with a barrage is going to be shot out of the sky.
That might
and
be.
It's time to reset, go again, but this time it's with only 50 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Really only a Valkyrie to speak of. A couple ults on the way, but not meaningful.
I don't know about that barrage there. They're going to make a swap here, but you know, that was pretty optimistic. At this point now, there's an EMP, you know, as mentioned, and you can't really hook with this Hog unless someone makes a mistake. Here's the halt attempt, but they're behind the wall, can't pull it through, and they just back up, reset. All they need to do is win one more fight. They've got EMP tank. Watch out.
Halt in, Char gonna be taken down. Now no Immortality field, and Hotba's been eliminated. Agilities coming up clutch here in the final hour. Fact Fiction will be taken down, but they finally broken their way through, it would seem. They will roll into A and get that extra bit of time in the bank just before the OT rolls in.
It doesn't get much closer than that. Had they not gotten that opening pick, then it's a much closer fight. We'll never know what that looks like, and we don't live in that alternate universe, so Valiant fans can rejoice, because even though this is not an ideal time bank, it's pretty par for the course for Havana at this point. We don't see point C finishes almost ever, and A usually taken close to overtime, especially in competitive matches like this one. You know, if you have a mismatch between the top team and the lower team, sometimes your results may vary, but
yeah.
Eileen just working towards another EMP now, and it's going to be more of the same, more like Horizon with the Reinhardt Zarya 3-3 versus Sombra Goats.
Just trying to advance up this walkway. Valiant is getting battered from all angles.
Eileen gets a hack on the space. You can see him fall low, and you can see the ult charge rise up to 83.
Yep. And here's one of the most dangerous chokes in the game right here. Bomb up over the top space, manages to find Chara. Very nice pickoff. Is that gonna be enough, because this EMP is about to come through? Eileen barely makes it out with his life intact. Transcendence going to be used by Shu. KSF still very far away from that grab, and now the EMP comes through, hacks him out. And they all melt down, chasing forward, looking to finish off space and knock him out of that mech. Seems like he will be able to escape safely. Custa going for a cheeky back cap.
This zone right here is Sombra Paradise because there's a lot of chokes that your opponents have to go through, but you have wide open space. You've got free reign, low ground, high ground. You can hack from the low ground, high ground targets. You can hack from the high ground, low ground targets. You can find your way around so many different spaces, from these boilers to the pipes. I mean, it's tough if you're space right now because Eileen's gonna plug himself in. You're the charger for the EMP, and he brought his cable with him. This is a rough spot for the Valiant now with this time bank. 30 seconds to go, and I think we'll see an EMP before that's done.
Good fire strike through there from Rio. Already had the Earth Shatter ready to roll. Hotba nearly with the grab. KSF still trailing behind. Rallies out from both sides. Zakart starts pushing forward. Happy works his way around the corner to keep this one contested. Now grab coming in. Instantly Grid popping that Transcendence. Trying to keep them alive. Answering grab comes through, but they need kills on the back end of it. Shatter comes down. Agility's going lower and lower. Will get finished off by Hotba. Shield's gonna expire. Space drops the bomb, tries to survive, gets himself a double kill. Shu and Rio both gonna be taken out, and on the back of that bomb, they might just be able to roll through into B. They will again.
And I think that Space probably had less than 50 health when he hit that bomb, and Eileen was in the process of hacking him. He just barely got that remeching bomb off. It was the intent was to remech. No one from Charge expected him to get it off because the hack was coming through, and he saves them and actually might be able to keep the hope of a third push alive. No answer for this EMP though, so things will shift back. You'd have to think with the angle he's going to take here. Eileen from the backside, not spotted.
Limited options. Custa's barrier gonna have to be the counter here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna work.
EMP comes through, only gonna be hacking out too. The barrier comes through, Eileen and Happy both get taken down. Potential here for the Valiant. If not to finish the map, then they gain a lot of distance here.
They're coming in clutch, the Valiant really are. I mean, they are winning fights that they have almost no right to take. They are super focused right now, laser focused. They need this win. You know, it's going to be the first of many they will need to try to get into that play-in, to try to break into that top 12. You can see they want it. Look at Custa right now. Look at how he's positioning himself, getting information.
They have the Transcendence for the grab. Eileen still just 20% towards that next EMP. Space hacks for the moment. Grab comes through. Back Fiction right up into the front. Going lower and lower. Going to be taken down. Hotba manages to find that kill. Kariv unable to get over to the Rhine to try to keep him in the fight with that Transcendence. Rally out now for Happy. Chara going low, nearly up to that sound barrier. And Shu's got the Transcendence. Shatter comes in, Kareem hits the ground, and Happy pushes forward and manages to find the kill. KSF now going to be taken down. Shatter comes through from Fact Fiction, but doesn't find anybody on the side of the charge. And I think this is the end of the line. Custa up over the top. Does not stand a chance, will be eliminated. Fact Fiction is cut off, the OT ticks down. They make it much further than we had ever anticipated, given the way that this map started. The Valiant cannot get the finish on Havana.
No, but very few teams do. So, you know, ordinarily, you know, if you're a fan of a team like the Valiant in this case, you feel frustrated because they didn't quite get C, but this is a great push, in fact. One of the better ones for Havana. So if you could set up some sort of great defense on A, force the same sort of situation with a potential overtime cap, I mean, this is, you feel favored here, actually, as the Valiant. You feel like, wow, we got away with so much there. Space's bomb leading into the B cap there. Custa hits the sound barrier where he's struggled many times in the past this series to hit those, to shut down the EMP, whether he's caught, stunned. He gets it off, and it feels like the Valiant are just poised to take this one all the way home. It really feels like they're playing even better in this fourth map than they have for the previous three. Something has awakened in these players, and the focus, like I said, it's laser right now. Precision that we're seeing from some of these players.
Incredibly clutch. But not going to be seeing any bunker setups here for the Valiant. Will just be playing the standard 3-3. They're waiting a bit further forward here. As the clock ticks down. waiting for the unlock here.
The clock is really ticking for the charge right now.
5, 4, 3,
Swaps coming through.
1.
Farah,
Incoming.
triple DPS variation. Rio on the Wrecking Ball. They're going to try to smash this one open. Same way they've been running this composition throughout stage 3.
Move forward there for the concussive blast. Knocks them all to the side. Pile driver coming down, unable to find any knockups, but the headshot there sets up for the rocket to come down, claim KSF's life. Very good combo coming through from the charge as they start advancing the cart. You can see the Valiant just trying to retreat indoors to stay away from all this pressure that Hotba is applying.
Hoppa has the barrage, and he goes for it!
And triple kill instantly, make it 5 really, as Space is taken out of that mech 4. Actually, now that I can count.
I mean, such a great decision.
It's still an absolutely massive barrage.
Hoppa's hero pool is so massive, and he has really, I mean, he's slotted himself in as the ultimate flex into this roster. And he goes for the barrage there, knowing the angle for Space is just not going to allow him to Matrix that. There's just no way. He doesn't see him in time. The angle is not correct. He knows he can hit a big one, and he just goes for it.
Yeah,
no
absolute
hesitation.
destruction.
Exactly right, and that's the kind of decision-making you need for a flex player.
Space going low, right up into the front already. The cart nearly advanced. Fact Fiction. Bionade connects onto him. He nearly goes down. Now a hack. Does manage to survive for a little bit longer. But an EMP is ready, and Eileen instantly going to use it, not wasting any time. Catches out 4 members on the side of the Valiant. Space going to be the first one to go down as he loses out onto the mech. The beat coming in on the back end of that does keep the baby Diva alive for a little bit longer. Nano onto Rio as he pushes forward. Shatter nearly ready. Nano Ryan battles. Now the Shatter coming through. Catches out 3 agilities. Taken down, an extra hack onto KSF. Make sure they can't push any bubbles forward. Rio managing to stay alive. Another anti on a back fishing. The charge through for Rio. Manages to find KSF. They clean him up. The cart will be able to push forward here into A.
And this was not the scenario a Valiant wanted. This is not the, overtime cap or perhaps a hold they were looking for. It just continues to be the Sombra, the X Factor, and a lot of these fights that they're just unable to deal with. Despite good plays from the support players for the Valiant, Custa and Kareev, there's a limit to what they could do versus both the Grav and the EMP. And this is, of course, after the big barrage coming out from Hoppa. But now, you've got the double threat here, and neither support ultimate is ready. So this push, I mean, you've got to expect this card is just going to keep rolling.
This looks like a, point B take.
You can't play passively here for Valiant. You have to be aggressive. You have to be proactive because you're not going to counter these ults. You're going to have to force them to be used. You're going to have to force a reaction out of the charge.
Well, that's going to be the grab coming through. Both sides catching it, but Space comes up with another massive bomb.
This is the proactivity I'm talking about. This is how you have to play against this. You don't wait for the grab. You don't wait for the EMP. You're not trying to play around support ultimates when you don't have them. You've got to go for the grab. You've got to fight. You've got to be aggressive on the point or before the point and force the charge to make mistakes. Now they've lost one of the 2 tools. There's no support ultimates of the Valiant still, but that's the fight you need to take.
I was gonna say, that's the unfortunate thing is they actually killed him so quickly that Kareev didn't get to hit anyone, and no one from the Valiant really took damage, so he doesn't get much ult.
They're gonna have to do it again. They're gonna have to play aggressive again.
Just gotta try to just keep rinse and repeating with the aggression, because that's where the success is coming through.
You can't find Eileen here. You can't stop the EMP.
EMP comes through, Kareev is gonna get caught. No one finishing him off yet. Fact Fiction, the only one to fall so far, but now they finally will be able to push forward. Get rid of that enemy Zenyatta. Space as well, gonna get popped out of the mech as the Fire Strike cruises through.
Unfortunately, the support ult's just not fast enough. They couldn't set up without ultimates for a fight the same way they did previously for the Grav bomb combo. Space has played so well in this potential final map here, but at least Hoppa didn't build that much ult charge in that fight. It was a quick fight, and you can make, as the Valiant here, one more contest for B using those support ultimates. It's going to be a pretty neutral fight.
Jara is going to get taken down. A lot of damage coming through from Kareev and KSF. You can see Alley-oop goes ahead and scoops up that kill. Hack now on Fact Fiction means the shield can't be raised, but the bubbles are there. So nothing to be found from that Earth Shatter. Retreat comes through from the charge, but not everybody's going to make it out.
Being decisive is what the Valiant is doing right now, and they also got that extra bonus of Rio committing the Shatter. He wanted to turn that fight, and he thought with a Shatter, not only would he do so, but he would build hop on Eileen's ultimates in that longer fight. But now there's another tool missing for the charge. You're still matching in support ultimates right now as the Valiant. You've got your grab coming online, and what was looking to be, you know, an easy B take for charge after several really clutch fights in the Valiant and aggressive, proactive play, they might be able to win this series right now in the next 70 seconds.
Trying for it. Costa hacked at the moment. KSF is going to build up that energy. Some pot shots and right clicks being lobbed into the back. Softened up Happy and Chew for the moment, but they're okay. They're able to stay safe. I think desperately wants to get that hack onto space. So there's no chance of a grab eat. Speaking of which, KSF throws his in. Pin. Fact Fiction takes out Happy. The sound barrier a little bit too late to try to save that Brig. Extended Earth Shattered, but the displacement there means Fact Fiction also gets nothing with his ultimate.
Okay, I think they might just have to wait here, the charge. But again, Valiant, they take another proactive fight before the EMP, before the grab could be used.
The Transcendence was used as well.
Yes, and that's the biggest problem here. Custa's gonna have to hit this barrier. He's on the pipes right now.
Hack coming through, space hits the low ground. Grab is out, the barrier comes through. Eileen
deleting
up that EMP, gets rid of a lot of the shielding, and Agility's gonna be the first one to fall. KSF following suit very quickly after. Fact Fiction cleaned up, space hacked again, no chance of retreating, but they drained the clock down. It's going to be an OT push through for the charge.
There's just nothing you can do in this moment. You know, if you don't barrier there during the grab, then you die there. But if you barrier, you get EMP'd, the shields get deleted.
Yep.
And one of these catch-22 problems that the Sombra Goats creates, frustrating to be the Lucio player in this case because there's no right choice.
They start pushing forward. They're going to try to stop it here while it's still in overtime. Trying to buy some space, the bomb coming through. Chara trying to hide, manages to do so, but Hobbuck is taken down, didn't have the bubble available, apparently. Does get deleted. Now another grab comes in. KSF slamming that one down. Shu pops the Transcendence, but Rio dies in the middle of the Earth Shatter, and this is it, the winning moment for the Valiant. They stop them from getting that time bank bump up. A bit of a gamble to take that fight there, but they win, and they close it out with a 3-1.
A very hard-fought series here for the Valiant. But I think one thing is clear, they wanted it more tonight. They absolutely did. In that fourth map, it really showed. They got pumped, they got focused, the momentum shifted hard for them, and they took a lot of fights. They failed to take on Horizon. They were aggressive, they were proactive, they found ways to fight against the EMP, against the grab, using their ultimates first. They took the initiative and turned that defense around. What a series. And the Valiant are, this is just one step, one small step closer to potentially making that top 12, getting those plans. It's still a long way away from that, but they have the potential to do it.
Yeah, they do, working on it. But man, what a game for the Valiant. Can feel good about that one. But let's go ahead and throw it down to the floor where Emily is standing by with Custa.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined down here by Custa. Congrats to you and the LA Valiant. Very aggressive plays tonight.
Thank you.
Now, Custa, we have to talk about the tweet that we featured during halftime. 2 days ago, you tweeted that if Sombra Goats becomes league meta, that you're gonna cry yourself to sleep. So how did you guys overcome Eileen Sombra today?
You know, we've done a lot of research on it. Obviously, a lot more teams are playing it now. So as much to my dismay, I'll cry tonight. But, you know, it's a lot of work. We recognize patterns in the play that we're doing. So we just tried to, you know, play aggressive and sort of force them to sort of do something. So.
Very good. Now, your next match will be against the Shanghai Dragons, in which the Valiant did lose 3-1 earlier in this stage. So what's it going to take for the Valiant to come up top in this rematch?
Last time we played them, we didn't have a lot of experience against Sombra Goats. Obviously, nowadays we do, unfortunately. So, you know, we've done a lot of research on them. We've done a lot of research on Sombra Goats. So it's about, you know, doing our plan and, like, living up to expectations of what we have for ourselves.
All right. Well, thank you, Custa, and best of luck. No more tears, I hope. All right. Well, thank you, guys. Back to you, Wolf and Ilios.
Thank you very much, Emily. Good to hear from Custa, and I agree. Hopefully, no more tears tonight. No one, you know, we want to see Custa cry. He's a beacon of hope for that squad, so always a positive force as well. So, you know, no more tears.
Yeah, I mean, they are a step in the right direction towards that play-in, but it's going to be a long road. The player of the match, presented by Omen by HP, is Kareev. I mean, between the Roadhog, the Ana, the Zenyatta, having to juggle between transcending both EMPs and Graviton Surges and doing his best to be efficient, you know, all things considered, this guy was easily player of the match.
Yep.
I mean, no one else, I think, even came close. He just put the team on his back, and a lot of those fights were won by him.
I mean, so many clutch moments. The Zenyatta, a fantastic performance from him. The Ana as well coming through, and then the Roadhog at the end there on Havana going for that push. Overall, just a fantastic series for Kariv. Everybody else, you know, there's some standout moments for them. Space as well coming up with multiple ult denies. But a good look for the LA Valiant. We'll see how they continue on with the rest of the stage. But guys, that does it for us today. But make sure you stay tuned because we still do have the Watchpoint post-show coming up to break down the action.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey man, what's up?
You need anything for today?
Nah man, I think I'm set. Big day today, man? Yeah, huge. Let's play some Overwatch.